Hi everyone, Nick Kratikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and today you're watching me on Bowdabra, and behind the camera is, you probably guessed it, my lovely dad. So we have lots of bows to create tonight. We're also going to be creating a candy cane, and potentially something using some of this greenery. So as you come in, let me know where you're watching from. Just drop a comment down below. I think it's fascinating to know that we can be here in my basement, my workshop, and knowing that people are watching from all around the world. It blows my mind each and every day, no matter how many times people comment down below. So we're going to start off with our large Bowdabra and our Bowdabra wire. And also, as you guys come in, Bowdabra is giving away a free roll of ribbon today. So comment down below you would like to win. And in the last 5 minutes, we will be drawing our winner. So make sure you're live here in the comment section for that. So when the names are announced, you guys can potentially win a free roll of ribbon.
Hi, everyone.
So this is a 100-yard spool, and you guys can pick up both of these from Bowdabra.com. Amazon also has them, as well as Michael's and Hobby Lobby. So what we're going to do is just take a length of wire. I always like to cut it a little bit longer than I anticipate because it's, you know, they come on such big rolls that if we end up wasting a little bit, it's better off wasting, you know, a few inches than having to cut a whole new piece if it's too short. So then what I did is I just placed it right in the little slit up top. And this is actually the mechanism that holds all of our ribbon in place, acting as our third hand. So we have our wire in place. We're also going to be designing a candy cane, like I said. So we're going to create our bow for that right off the bat. And we're going to be using two 1.5-inch ribbons. So today's bows, we're going to be doing all sorts of styles, you know, kind of combining different ribbons as well. So we have this 1.5-inch red canvas with a little bit of a shimmer edge and a 1.5-inch completely covered silver glitter ribbon. So both of these are wired, and I know lots of you guys have been asking about non-wired ribbon, and the only ribbon I kind of use at this point for my fresh designs is actually non-wired velvet. So once we take that out in the next couple of weeks or so, we will be showing you guys how to make a non-wired velvet bow. So hands up if you guys are excited about that. And another question I get asked too is how I store my ribbons. So this is definitely an important subject because once you purchase one roll of ribbon or start your business or start making bows, what ends up happening, Dad?
They unravel, they go all over the place.
They unravel, but then you start adding to your stockpile and having hundreds like myself. So you want to make sure they're contained. So I just take a floral pin or a corsage pin that I use for, you know, corsages and boutonnieres. And that's what I use to actually secure my ribbons and keep them from kind of unraveling and ruining. Because if we have a bunch of this left over that kind of unravels and you have things on top of it, it just ruins your ribbon. So you don't want that to happen. So we're going to take a length of this red ribbon, and I like to rotate my Bowdabra as I work in my product. So I'm going to take our first piece, and we don't need to create a massive bow for this design. We're going to create loops about 4.5, 5 inches with tails about 6 to 8 inches or so. And if they're too long, we can always trim those up afterwards. Like I said before, I don't mind wasting a little bit of ribbon and a little bit of wire as opposed to having a bow that's too small that we have to, you know, create a whole other bow for or take out some pieces of ribbon. So I'm just going to alternate between these two. Isn't that a pretty ribbon?
Very pretty, yeah.
Look at the back side of that, too. Very pretty ribbon. I'm excited about this one, you guys. Red and silver is one of my favorite color combos, and you guys seem to really enjoy it as well. So right here, right now, comment down below what of the 3 colors is your favorite, whether it's red, silver, or gold. Those are the color choices for the Bowdabra ribbon that they're giving away today. So I'm just kind of intrigued to see what you guys like the best. So see what we did here? We have one loop on one side, one on the other, and 2 tails. So we're just alternating. So the next piece we're going to be adding, we're going to place our loop here and our tails going in the opposite direction. That just helps evenly distribute the loops and makes your life a little bit easier in regards to fluffing afterwards. There's our next piece. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome, you guys.
Everybody wants to win.
Lots of people want to win. You got it. I mean, who doesn't want a free roll of ribbon? You'd be silly not to comment down below and, you know, take your chances. I see we have over 500 people now. We just started too, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Come back in with our next piece. And I think we'll do one more. For these candy canes, I often just do 3 loops total of each color. So we're using 2 different ribbons today, so we'll do 3 of each. So a total of 6 loops and 12 tails. So there's our final red. Now we'll just trim up. And now we'll come back in with our final silver.
Hi, Sue.
Welcome, Sue.
That is a pretty silver, huh, Nick?
Isn't it a pretty silver? I think red and silver is probably one of my favorite color combos. More so than red and white. I love red and white, but no matter what you do with red and white, it kind of looks like candy cane print to me. Don't you feel the same way,
Yeah.
Dad? Not saying that's a bad thing, but red and silver just has a kind of a different look to it. So we're going to take our wire, bring it from one side to the other, and it doesn't matter what side you bring it to. So I'm going to show you guys both ends. One side of your wire should have 2 open ends like this. And since we folded it in half, the other side is going to have a loop. You can bring your loop to one side or you can bring your tails to one side. The choice is up to you, and it really doesn't make a difference because either way it's going to get tied off. And then what you can do is you can compress your ribbon if you'd like. I kind of do it along the way. And then I just give it one good tug. And you can actually tie it inside of your Bowdabra if you would like. So you can just, create a knot and tie it in like that. That's another option. I often remove it out of my Bowdabra, so it's basically whatever you feel most comfortable with. Then we can take it out, and just for reassurance, I'm going to take the wires to the back and tie it off one more time. Like that. So just to make sure that it's secured, almost 700 live viewers, thank you all. Be sure to say hi to Dad too. You guys know we appreciate Dad coming down here and recording me. This is definitely a family operation. My sister's the one upstairs, Bella's sharing the video, my dad records me, Alex edits. It's just a full family affair, I guess. Wouldn't you say, Dad?
Yep.
You all take a kind of special place in this business. So what I'm doing now is I'm just dovetailing. And to dovetail, all we're doing is taking our ribbon, folding it in half, and cutting from the middle out towards the wired edge at an angle. And it just creates a little fishtail or dovetail that adds, kind of a professional end to your ribbons. I don't like the way that looks. Do you, Dad?
No.
I think it should be dovetailed. So I like to do that to all of my tails.
Next, I missed the name, but someone asked if you could show how to make a bow that you could put on a flat box, like maybe a glass top or something like that.
Any of these bows you can do on a flat box. You can be doing a traditional bow, or in this case, a funky bow. Once you fluff it out, the back side should be flat no matter what. So if you're talking about like wrapping a present, we did one closer towards Christmas last year on Bowdabra, decorating a present. And let me know, you guys, you want to see us wrap some other presents this year? Actually, let me rephrase. Do you guys want to see me decorate some presents? Because Yaya is the one that's going to be wrapping it, because I can't wrap to save my life. But we've dovetailed all of our ends. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to our candy cane. So we have our bow constructed. Before we do anything, we got to create a candy cane. The blue candy cane we made was a huge hit. The red and white one was a huge hit. So today we're doing red and silver just to mix it up. So I've already attached my ribbon just by using a little bit of hot glue on the end. And now what we're going to do is start wrapping it. So this is a Sam's Club ribbon. And I recommend using a Sam's Club ribbon for this type of design. Simply because you don't want to be wasting, super expensive ribbon. So Sam's Club comes in 50-yard spools. And we got to make a trip up there, Dad.
I know.
To get some more ribbon. So 50-yard spools. And we're using maybe between, I'd say, 5-6 yards? If that, not even. Maybe 3-4 yards, so. But the frame itself came from the dollar store. And after we create this candy cane, we're going to be creating lots more bows, so stick around with us. So I'm just wrapping it at an angle, kind of like a barber sign. You know what I mean?
Barbershop
signs. We should get one of those for our house. I'd love to have one of those in my shop. Maybe that would constantly remind me to get a haircut because I always seem to be a little late to getting haircuts. You guys know that by now.
I would actually love to have an antique barbershop chair.
Ooh, you would?
I love them.
Yeah, they are cool. So, just wrapping, you guys. It takes a couple seconds, but that's not too hard or tedious. If you want to make it as even as possible, you certainly can. Or if you just want to space them out afterwards, you can do that as well. So now we're getting up to the kind of curly part of the candy cane. We're going to do the same process, just wrapping it at an angle, trying to make it look as nice as possible. And then we'll make some other bows. We have some snowflake ribbon, which I'm excited about using. We haven't used that yet. We used just a little bit of it in a wreath that we created on Nick's seasonal decor, but it's actually the nicest, thickest ribbon I've worked with. It's such nice quality. So we have a little left to wrap, you guys. Then we can attach our bow and then finish off our candy cane. So what we also have is some decorative picks and some other embellishments. I'm just going to snip it off here and finish working it. So just taking it, wrapping it around, making sure there's no creases in your ribbon, like this, and we got maybe 2 or 3 inches left. Making sure the end looks nice, and then what I like to do is I like to come back towards the back, take a little dollop of hot glue, 730 people. So here's my hot glue skillet, still working with 3 legs, you guys. We will have kind of an updated series on Nick's Seasonal Decor, talking about all of the tools that I use and recommend in my shop. Keep in mind, I've been at this for a pretty long time now. We didn't just start last week, so I've kind of trialed and errored my own tools over the last several years and found what works well for me. And we're going to create kind of a video talking about all of the tools in my shop that I recommend and that I honestly just don't recommend. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely tune in, because we will have that at some point in the next couple weeks. Actually, not couple weeks. In about a week or so, we'll have that video. So here's our candy cane. Isn't that looking kind of cute? And like I said, after this video, I'll probably go ahead and kind of shuffle them a little bit to make them as even as possible. But our candy cane is constructed at this point. So our next step is going to be attaching our bow. So we've already made our bow. 780. Let's see if we can reach 1,000 live viewers tonight. That would be incredible.
804.
804. See, we're getting there, you guys. Now we'll just take another little dollop of hot glue. And I'm using a special, very special tool, which is just a scrap stick. So I never use anything fancy when it comes to the glue skillet, because I end up throwing them out, you know, a few days later anyway. So I'm applying a very generous amount of hot glue, and this is my means of securing it onto our candy cane. That way the back of it looks nice and clean as well. There's our hot glue. We're going to just take it and plop it where we want it. And that looks like a good spot for me. Then we can fluff everything out, or we can just wait a couple seconds too for the glue to harden. But if you're impatient like me, you can do it all at the same time. Fluff it out, fluff it out. What a pretty combination the red and silver is. What do you think, Dad?
I love it, yeah.
Isn't that a nice color combo, you guys? What do you think? So then we can just trim up our tails that might be too long, get them to our liking. So now what I'll do is I'll let this sit for a couple minutes, and then we can come back in with some more embellishments to finish it off. But you see how pretty of a bow you can create on the Bowdabra? So, very simple. But let's get back to some bow making and then finish that up in just a few minutes. Hi from Wyoming. Welcome, Rhonda. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We'll come back in with another piece of this gold wire. And I'm starting to run a little low on this. I have a roll of silver, but how many bows have we made using this roll, Dad?
Tons.
Tons. I say 75 plus bows.
Tons.
And keep in mind, we are wasteful with our wires, and I'm totally okay with that. So just taking it, and I like to place my wires underneath. If they slide out, that's totally fine. I'm not too concerned about that. But now what we'll do is actually create a traditional bow. So this is one of my favorite ribbons. It has a 2.5 inch canvas that's kind of slightly ivory. It's not an ultra white. And what I mean by that is, here, you guys can see the difference. See how one's a little bit lighter, a little bit more of a pure white, and one's kind of a little bit more of a cream. So I really like this because it's not super bright. So we'll do a traditional bow using this. Our first step is going to be cutting some tails. So we're going to cut our tails however long we want. So when I give measurements, you guys, it's always just rough estimates, and you can definitely sway outside of those lines. If you want to make your bows bigger, cut your tails bigger, make your loops bigger. If you don't want tails this long, just cut them shorter. So totally customizable. And this is a ribbon that I actually use at Christmas time for my fresh wreaths. So it's kind of taking me a little back down. We're going to take our ribbon. I have it upside down. I'm going to place it into our Bowdabra. And then what I like to do, I know some people just like to, continue putting their loops in. I like to just rotate my Bowdabra and then twist my ribbon. So I twist it so that the pretty side is facing up top. With every turn, we'll just drop our ribbon to the ground. Wow. Thank you, guys. Thanks for all the love.
See a lot of people from Louisiana here. I hope you guys are all staying safe there with that storm that hit.
Me too. Is it still happening?
I don't know if it's still happening, but I know you guys got a lot of damage there.
I know. Seems
awful.
to be one thing after another with you guys. I feel awful. Louisiana's taking a hit this year with the storms. So we're just creating some more loops. These loops are about, I'd say 5.5, 6 inches. These aren't little, baby loops. These are definitely big loops. And also right here, right now, hands up. Oh, almost 900 people. Hands up if you guys want to see a Christmas tree topper on the Bowdabra. We're going to be doing one of those within the next few weeks or so. As we get a little bit closer towards Christmas, we'll be doing a tree topper. And with the Bowdabra, you guys can be making very big tree toppers. So if you're dealing with, like a 12-foot tree like we have here, you can make easily a 2-foot, 3-foot across bow if you really wanted to. The thicker the wires and the thicker the ribbon is, the better it is for tree toppers. You're not going to want to deal with something a little bit flimsy. I know my philosophy has always been you can work with any ribbon. Fluffing is the most important step, but when you're dealing with such big loops, they tend to flop over. So you definitely want something a little bit thicker than, you know, flimsier ribbon. And this ribbon would actually be perfect for a tree topper. But the process is pretty much the same. You're going to do the same thing, just elongate your bows. So that seems like it's plenty of loops for me. So we're just going to trim off those tails.
Got so many loops here, I thought you were doing the tree topper now.
I know, this is going to be a nice and full bow. So again, I just compress my loops like that. Take my wire, bring it from one side to the other. Doesn't matter which side, whatever one is closest to your hand. Pull your wires through. Pull your bow out of your Bowdabra. And then this is my way of securing it, but you guys can secure it like we just showed you, directly into the Bowdabra. Pull it really tight. And I like to give it 2 or 3 knots. I want to make sure this bow's not coming apart. So now, how ugly does that look, Dad?
Looks like something I'd make.
Looks like something. Oh, no, you made a better bow than this. So you're definitely on the right track, and this is definitely on the right track. But all we have to do now is bring it to life through fluffing. So pull those loops apart. Make sure you're fluffing them really nicely. Get any of the kinks and creases out of those wires and those loops. So let me just fluff one half of it so you guys can see what it looks like. See how much better the left-hand side looks than the right?
I know.
So you want to run your fingers through it, get any of those creases out, open up those loops. And by opening them up, what I mean is to just open like moving your fingers inside of it so it has like a little bit of a fluff to it. You don't want to have them, you know, like that. That just doesn't look right to me. So just run your fingers through those, get any creases out. And you have a beautiful bow. Also make sure all of your loops are facing forward. And there you go. How simple was that?
It's a great ribbon, too.
Isn't that a great ribbon? Give a heart if you guys like this bow. I think this one's really pretty. I like it. 850 people still watching. Thank you all very much. Now let's come back to our candy cane because it's nice and, you know, solidified, the hot glue. So I'm going to pull any loops to kind of separate the colors a little bit more. Pull this red one to this side. And now let's add a few picks. So the picks I have today are these, and I think these are so cool. What do you think of those, Dad?
I love those.
Aren't those pretty?
It's my style.
It is your style. So we're going to just take some of these off and just snip them off using our wire snips. And it's not going to take too many, maybe 2 or 3.
Yep, it's Bowdabra wire, and it comes in gold and silver.
Gold and silver. So whatever color you would like to have, they have it. Because pretty much you can match gold and silver to anything.
And 100-yard spools will last you forever.
Unless you make a lot of bows.
There it is.
So I'm just going to take some of these pieces and just tuck them in. And these match really nicely, and I think they're going to add kind of a nice little impact to this design. So we'll break down one more of these sprays. What do you guys think? How do you like this?
Francis says, have you ever used a fluff box?
A fluff box?
What is that?
I know lots of people make kind of weighted boxes for it. But for my bows, I usually just fluff them in my hand. So actually, if anything, the easiest time to fluff a design or a bow is once it's actually secured to whatever you're securing it to. So you're not going to want to fluff everything, you know, ahead of time. I'm going to trim this up a little bit more. You're not going to want to fluff everything ahead of time because then once you secure it to your, you know, stuff, you're going to have to refluff. So if you're doing lots and lots of bows, it'd be a shame to go through all of that extra effort of having to fluff and then having to refluff and refluff and refluff. So save yourself some time and give everything a very good fluff towards the very end of your project.
Kathy Jordan said, love you, Nick.
Oh, well, we love you too, Kathy. Thank you.
Susan wants to know where the picks came from, Nick.
These came from Hobby Lobby. And I think that's all we're going to add. I don't think we need to add any more.
I don't think so. That's
I
beautiful,
have
just the way it is.
extra picks, but I think that's enough.
Plain and simple.
So also right now, you guys, let us know either by a like or a comment that you enjoy these tutorials and would like to see more of them. We appreciate your feedback. That turned out really cute.
It did. Eva wants to know how you put the bow in the candy cane, Nick.
Well, Eva, you can watch the replay, but what we ended up doing was just cutting off the wire on the bottom, placing some hot glue, and just securing it right onto the candy cane. And the candy cane form actually came from the dollar store. They've had them over the last several years, and I went to my dollar store last week, and they already had them on the shelves. So definitely pick out a couple because they make great gifts, you know, presents. Very inexpensive to make, and you can customize them to any home and any color scheme. So now let's create this beautiful snowflake ribbon.
That's pretty, too.
What do you guys think of that? Give some hearts if you think that one's pretty. How are we doing on time? We got 10 minutes left. A couple of bows we're able to squeeze in.
Michelle says, have you considered a rose gold candy cane?
I have. I actually just saw some of my rose gold ribbon. Maybe we'll give that a shot if you guys would like to see it. Damon Oates of Décor Exchange always makes fun of me for using rose gold. He says it's a very old lady color, but you know what, Damon? I love rose gold, so... But it's all in good fun. We're just going to create a bow. I just want to show you guys the hold of this. Look at how stable that ribbon is. See how it just like stays exactly where you place it? So for this bow, I'm thinking we'll do a funky bow. That might be kind of pretty. We created a traditional bow using this a little while back, so let's do a funky bow. So you have a couple different options of creating your funky bow. You can do what I'm doing here, just kind of gauging it in your hand, cutting off your loop, and then placing it in. And then another choice that you can do is to take your ribbon, place it into your Bowdabra, and create your loop directly in the Bowdabra. So it's whatever's easiest for you. Like I've been saying for a very long time now, every tool there is in this world, not even just in wreath making, every tool there is in this world, you're going to have to kind of manipulate to your own hands. So there's lots of tools besides, you know, the Bowdabra that you're going to have to kind of manipulate. Like my hawk glue skillet, I'm able to kind of swirl sticks in and use it as paint, whereas other people use glue guns. So there's always going to be something that works for you that won't work for other people. So you might find it easier to do it outside and use it as a hand.
Marianne said she'd love to win, and CC Garcia says, where can I find grapevine wreaths?
You guys can pick up grapevines virtually anywhere. Michael's, Hobby Lobby.
All the stores, yeah.
All the stores have grapevines. I know Décor Exchange used to have some grapevines. I don't know if they're sold out currently, but they used to have lots of them. So we're just going to do 3 loops on that, just to show you guys that you don't have to add, 10, 12 loops per design.
That's a real nice blue, Nick. What do you call that color?
I'd say it's kind of like an ice blue.
Like an ice blue?
Yeah, like an ice or cool blue. It's not a teal. It's not an...
No, I like it with the snowflakes. It looks nice.
Yeah, it's a very baby blue. I wouldn't say baby blue. It's, like an ice blue. Arctic blue. I don't know. There's so many different words for it,
Maybe Arctic. Yeah, that might be the one.
So we're just going to secure it. Like I said, only 3 loops on this. So with 2.5 inch, you're able to kind of stretch your ribbon a little bit more so than working with 1.5 inch. Even though 1.5 inch ribbon is my favorite ribbon of all time, 2.5 inch does a great job with coverage as well. So just dovetail those tails, you guys. And if you are interested in Bowdabra, you guys can be purchasing them from Bowdabra.com, Amazon, Hobby Lobby, and Michael's. All right, how many left do we have to dovetail? 2 more. And also, you guys, this morning I went to put on my socks, and I felt something scratch my foot, and I had no idea what it was. And then I took my sock off, and it was a 1.5 inch red, not red velvet, but like a red covered glittered ribbon. So I don't know how that got in there, but I have glitter everywhere, you guys. It seems to just travel. And with Christmas coming up, there's no way that's going to be disappearing anytime soon. So what do you guys think of that one? That's a pretty bow.
That's a pretty one, yeah.
See, only 3 loops. We used maybe 14 times 2 is 28 times 3 is 56. 14 times 3, 4, 8, 12. No.
52.
52. 52 inches worth of ribbon or so, if that. So not using a lot, a 1.5 yards or so. So if you have leftover ribbon, you can create a very pretty bow just using your scraps. So
42, actually. My bad.
14, 20. I haven't done math in a very long time.
14, 28, 42.
Okay, there we go. Clearly I wasn't an AP calculus or anything like that. I don't think I need to explain myself with that. Lots of you guys feel the same way. But we're just going to cut some more wire. We have a little bit time left. We have 6 minutes, so let's create another bow. We're going to take our wire, place it into our Bowdabra. And like I said, you can wrap it underneath. If you don't want to wrap it underneath, you certainly don't have to. The choice is ultimately up to you. So let's do a different bow. So we're keeping it red and white today, or red and silver. So let's do a different bow. We're going to take this, cut off our tails however long we would like. Take our tails. This is a 2.5 inch ribbon that came from Hobby Lobby. Place it into my Bowdabra like so. We'll come back in with some candy cane ribbon now. This is one of my favorites. I've been using this for years and years and years. This came from Michael's, and they've had it for, I'd say, 6 years or so. This has got to be an old roll, too.
Everybody's saying Michael says no grapevines. What happened to them all?
No grapevines. Maybe in-store. You guys can order them to your store and have them shipped for free. But I think after like 29 or 59 or something, it's free shipping on Michaels.com, and it's not hard to spend that kind of money. I'm going to tell you guys right now, you guys know how it is as crafters. You go in for one thing, and you come back with 15 carts and no space in your house. So we're going to take this 2.5 inch, which kind of looks like baseballs to me as well. place it in. We're going to do 3 loops on either side. And we're going to do these loops about 4.5, 5 inches or so. Don't have to be massive. So as I said before, I like to rotate my Bowdabra. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can always just, you know, rotate your hands.
Congratulations to tonight's winner, Candy Smith Dennis, I think it was.
Congratulations, Candy. Message Bowdabra, and they will be more than happy to send you a free roll of ribbon. So there's our second one. So we have 2 loops on either side now. We'll do our third. And we're going to stop after 3, you guys. Just 3 loops of ribbon. And then we'll come back in with our 5 loops of the 1.5 inch. So as you can see, I didn't measure. And truth be told, you guys, you seriously don't have to be measuring every single piece exactly. I very rarely measure my ribbons, and they seem to turn out just fine. There's always ways to kind of fluff it out so it doesn't look like they're different sizes. So now we'll take this 1.5 inch, and we're going to create 2 loops on either side that are approximately, I'd say, about 3 inches or so. And again, I'm not measuring these as well. Drop my ribbon to the ground. Do our final loop on one side. And now what we're going to do is what I like to call a button loop. And a button loop is something that you place right in the middle that's kind of smaller than the rest of your loops, just to cover up the middle portion of your bow. So I'm just going to snip this short. This one's only going to be about 1.5 inches to 2 inches or so, if that. Take your wires, bring them from one side to the other, or you can tie them in the Bowdabra like I said before. Pull them really tight. Pull your bow out of your Bowdabra. Wrap your wires around. And secure. Now we can fluff our bow. This one's going to be really pretty, I think, with the red and white. So just pulling those tails down, separating your loops.
Jane said she made her own grapevine from a friend who was cutting down her grapevine. That's pretty cool.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Send us a picture. I'd love to see how it turned out. All right, so just fluffing. Again, just pull your loops apart. That's the most important step, you guys. Still 833 people. You guys are awesome tonight.
Lynn said, excuse me, Lynn said, where did you get the wire? It's Bowdabra wire.
Bowdabra wire. So Bowdabra.com, you can pick up, different sizes of Bowdabras. You guys can be picking up your wire there as well and get lots of other ideas for bows. So I'm not the only one that uses the Bowdabra. There's thousands upon thousands of you guys that use it. And lots of you guys share your own bows and share your own styles, which I think is incredible. We all can learn something from each other, each and every one of us.
That's a great ribbon combo, Nick.
Isn't that a pretty ribbon combo? A pretty
Awesome.
bow, too. Just something a little bit different working with these together like that. So give a heart if you guys love this. This is using 2.5 inch ribbon as well as 1.5 inch. We have 3 loops on either side using the 2.5 inch. Those loops are about 4.5, 5 inches, maybe a little bit longer in some cases. Followed by 2 loops on either side of the 1.5 inch that are cut about 3 inches. And our little button loop right in the middle, that's about 1.5 inches to 2.
Beverly said, how is Alex feeling tonight? Well, we haven't seen Alex all day. She left for work bright and early this morning. But
She's feeling better. Her allergies were bothering her the other day.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you. So here's our other bow, and let us know which one's your favorite. This is a 2.5 inch traditional canvas candy cane colored ribbon, red and white. That's your traditional bow, and that's usually my go-to for Christmas. We also have our candy cane, which is really pretty. This will be listed in my Etsy shop as well. I really like that with these little frilly bits.
Yeah.
That's pretty. So, doesn't look too candy cane to me. Then, lastly, one of the best quality ribbons I've ever worked with is going to be this one that came from Trendy Tree last year, which is just a blue snowflake ribbon with the chenille or pipe cleaner edge. So, let us know what your favorite is. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, joining both me and Dad. We always have so much fun making these bows, and more than anything, we hope to inspire you to kind of create your own bows. And if you need help, we have so many different bow tutorials, both on Nick's Seasonal Decor, as well as with Bowdabra as well, using the Bowdabra. So again, thank you guys for your time. I love each and every one of you, and we will see you all next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Bowdabra. Bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.